Sitting here in car. Hello, I'm thinking. Hi guys, welcome back to MK Sportscars. I'm sitting here in the workshop in Cup car number 2. Do you know what? It's had a little racing debut at Snetterton. Let's head over there now and see how it got on. Right, well, race 1 over. Well, John had a terrific race. Bit of a lonely race on his own out there. I think he finished 9th in the end, or was it 8th? Can't remember now. Because there was a little bit of distraction with Dave's car, number 85. This is part of it here. As you can see, it didn't come off too well coming onto the Bentley straight at the back there. But the story doesn't end there, guys. We thought we've got 18 hours. 18 hours. Can we get that car back out? Well, let's head over to the workshop and see what happened. What's the time? The time is?
Bang on's 5:30.
It's 5:30 in the evening. We're back at the workshop. We've got a broken car in the back of the van, not even out the van yet, and the manifold's coming off already. Stay tuned for more updates. So we are an hour in now. This is where we're at. 1 hour. Decent of a car. So there's 6 of us here running around. This is the status where we are after 1 hour. And then there is the build coming along. Hour 3. 3 hours, completely stripped. We have a complete kit of parts down here. Well, it's not really complete, but there we go. That's where we're at on the old chassis. This is the bent one. And here's your new build. Right, next hour we have had a bit of a food stop, but we are progressing quite handsomely. The electrics are going in, all your steering columns in, Putting the back end on now. So here's where we are. I think it's hour 4 now. Might be 5. Don't know. But the side panels are starting to go on. Back panel, engines in. 5 hours. Back panel on next. Right, next hour we are at, what's the time? Hang on. Midnight. Go for it, push the button. She breathes. Here we go again. 1 o'clock. And we are getting closer. 2:15. Still rocking out. We're just doing the setup now. We're all back together. Look at that. We're all back together. Just a little bit of setup to be done, and we are golden. Time check, please. 3 AM. There we go. I did it at a round number this time, so you haven't had about an hour. But we're just doing the final bit of setting up the ride heights, tracking and tow. And the mood is buoyant still, considering the time.
9 hours to rebuild a whole car?
So, okay, well it was out with the old and in with the new for car 85 in race 2. Well, we finished a marathon in 10 hours. 10 hours to fully build a car. Do you know what? Fair play to all the team. Atomic Racing, RLM Racing and MK Sportscars. We nailed it. And I'll tell you what, it was a corker. Let's go and see race 2. Right, well, welcome back to the workshop. What a stonking event it was at Snetterton. A full mix of emotions, from crashes to repairs to awesome racing talent, which was Dave Watson and John Cutmore. Well, John managed to pip Dave over the line. I mean, literally half a car on it. But the icing on the cake was the car that we rebuilt did actually set the faster lap. So that was dead impressive. If you want to get involved in the Cup car, in the Cup 200 series for 2023, then hook us up here at MK Sportscars or RLM Racing or Atomic Racing. We are at MSD Live in the 4th and 5th of November, where we are booking on people. If you want to get booked in, we've got a couple of spaces left for a test drive on the Cup 200 car. Now, let's head into the workshop. Right, we'll start off here, probably a familiar car to those who subscribe to our channel, the RX-5 Turbo. This was a customer's car that we built. Probably check out the registration number, you will remember. It's actually been sold and it's going to be heading off to Wales to customer John. So it's only in here for a triple transportation because it's a long way where it's going. It's about 300 miles away from where he's purchased it from. So great little project, great little car, very fast. We know it's in the region of 220, 230 horsepower. The RX-5 Mazda cars, when they're turbocharged, just absolutely awesome. It's got all the weather gear, got the doors, got the hood. It's got the nice seats, got the padded steering wheel, got the Digidash, and just always nice to see a turbocharged engine. So yeah, this is heading off in the next 24 hours to the new lucky owner. Right, here we are with the Dax Rush, as you know, guys. Been through the workshop, a little bit of a project that we've been sorting out for the customer, and we put it through the IVA and now it's passed. So simple things to do. It's an Audi 1.8 turbo engine, which was a little bit tricky. It's a fully rebuilt engine, a little bit tricky to get through the emissions. We had to play around quite a few hours actually to get that dialed in, but everything else was fine. And there's one little thing on the Dax that you will have to look out for, actually, guys, if you're building one at the moment, which is the indicators. Now, there's nowhere, unless realistically you need to put them in here, if you can. Fit them in some way, but if you can't and you put them in the headlights, they won't pass the 5-degree angle test. So you'd end up having to put them on the rear quarters. Now we are doing, it's kind of a temporary thing, but these are on the rear quarters. It also then fires, because it's not only 5 degrees out from this way, it's 5 degrees going down. So when you stand at the vehicle at the rear corner here, you'll take 5 degrees out and you will go 5 degrees angle down. You actually wouldn't see the indicator by about 1.5 degrees, I think it was in the end. So they have to end up being here. Now, if you do mount them here, this is an IVA top tip, you have to be within, from the front of the vehicle, 2.6 meters. So from the very front of the vehicle, you can mount that side indicator anywhere within 2.6 meters to the rear. So a little top tip there for IVA for you, but yeah, she's passed. She's going to get loaded up into the trailer. Okay, something that's just landed in the workshop. As you can see, we're pretty busy and pretty full in here right now. We've got an M&R Vortex here. We do work on other brands. It's not an issue. You know, whether it's Westfields, M&Rs, MEVs we've got over there, Daxes and stuff like that. We've got a few different other cars in here. We do work on them. This is coming in. It's got a nice little Yamaha, familiar to us as well, engine, 5EY engine. Just pop the bay here. They make decent power. They're probably 185 plus sort of horsepower in that rim. It's coming in just to have a geo on it, get it a bit more track focus for the customer. Yeah, it's got some nice bits on it actually. I like Kawasaki green. Odd with a Yamaha engine, but Kawasaki green it is. But yeah, it's nice, got the cage, nice seats, paddle shift, DD2 dash. So yeah, decent spec indeed. Right, another car that's landed here in the workshop with well, it's quite a bit of work actually. This is our MK Indy RR. It's got the 38mm welded in roll cage on this particular one. Aero screen, it's got force racing wheels, it's got nice, very nice interior actually, all carbon interior. It's got some really funky dashboard bits going on here, which is out of like a sim with the AIM dashboard, which is really cool. Nice gear lever actually, some bits here we've got to tidy up, so nice gear lever, all branded MK. It's like an Audi TT style top on it. But yeah, it's got a nice little Z-Tech black top engine in here, which under this cover is a turbocharger. We've got a little intercooler setup and oil cooler setup down in the front. It's got wheelwood brakes on the front and on the back. We've also got wheelwoods, 4 pots on the rear, branded banded padding and that, carbon bits, carbon pretty much everywhere. It's got a few bits to do, got some temperature issues, a few little oil leaks, some minor bits and bobs. The customer's just bought the car, wants us to go through it, check it over, make sure it's doing what it's meant to do. But yeah, nice little car. It's been wrapped actually. I don't know what colour is underneath there, but it's had a wrap in it of some form. Yeah, I'm sure with that bad boy in there, making, I think, if I remember rightly, it was about 230, similar to the Mazda, about 230 horsepower. Well, we know what they go like, they're pretty quick cars. Right, here we are with the Gixxer 1000 that we know we've done an engine swap on. Waiting on a couple of parts actually. It was gaskets, was a couple of things that we were waiting on, gaskets to get them in on back order with some of those bits, and a new oil cooler. If an engine's gone, you could flush the oil cooler out, but do you know what, as an extra precaution for the 70 quid or so for an oil cooler, bolt a new one in, especially you never know if you got it all out and then you put a nice new engine in, probably ended up grenading that one because there's debris in the oil somewhere that we've not managed to flush out. So a few little buttoning up bits to do, oil cooler to go on, gaskets all done that we needed to do now. It's got the new billet sump back, bolted back onto it, that's under here, you won't see. Removed that AccuSump like we said last week, changed out some of the fittings because it had some really strange fittings on here. Like standard nuts, people are just using, we've put some Nylox back on here, but a lot of standard nuts were being used, which on a bike engine will vibrate free. So make sure you use Nylox, much safer. So yeah, that should be done within the next sort of 48 hours, ready to start. Right, here we are at hashtag Ted's car. It's having a bit of a transformation, as we know. Been IVA'd, been doing the post-IVA stuff that he wanted done, some work. Just got to finish the aero screen to fit, because what we took it all off because we fitted the carbon stripe pack, which I've got to say does look pretty smart. That orange and carbon stripe really lifts the car down the sides, down the other side as well, with a carbon silencer. It's looking rather trick now, and well, as soon as it gets dynoed, it can head on back to Ted. Right, Westfield time. As you know, we've been building this. It's on the ground now, into a different area. We're starting to do the final bits really for the IVA prep really, like the steering wheel going on with the padded centre. We've got to set up all the parameters on this race technology dash, which is in here. We've got to set all that up, so it's got to be speedo, all the sensors be programmed for coolant, etc. as well. We've got to check the emissions, which is why we've got the ECU out at the moment. We're just going to plug that in and get the emissions, just checking all of that. And then once we've finished in the back end there, we'll leave the boot box out and just put the boot panel on for IVA, just in case they want to inspect there. It's just easier for the guides. They sometimes say, well, they want access, they want to see it from both sides. So in my advice, once it's pre-fitted, take the boot box out, just saves you time at the IVA test. You can pop the lid and they can inspect to their heart's content then. Yeah, so other than that, the car is pretty much almost there really, to be honest with you. Engine bay's all tidy and clean. A few bits to peel off, what's at the very end, just the clean map off the bulkhead and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much getting there. And a chassis plate to put on and a wiper just to finish off, because I think we've got to find one of them because we didn't get supplied one, so we've got to track that down. But that's about the last bits really to start buttoning it up. Right, here we are S2000 time, so it's hashtag John's car, Indy RR chassis, FIA roll cage, S2000 engine, on throttle bodies, Omex management, Simpsons exhaust on it. It's got CXRs on here at the moment. All the wheelwood brakes all the way around, MK branded clocks, tillet seat, quick release boss, carbon everywhere, interior, rear wings, front wings, the whole shebang on this particular one. But it's in for a few jobs that we've got to do for him. Wants a nose cone change, quite likes the new nose cone that we do, which is available. So we're going to be doing a nose cone swap and also a fuel tank change. I've got a new one here that we're going to be doing just to help with fuel surge on this, because the other one that was in there wasn't as well baffled because it was from an existing build that it had and sourced it from. So a new baffled tank will go in there, and we know they work because we use them in the Cup car. And I don't know how many laps and miles now, probably 3,500 kilometres now, and we've run them down to literally probably an inch of fuel at the bottom of the tank, and we don't get any problems at all. So we'll pop one of them in, get it tidied up, finished up, because I think, pretty sure, this is going up for sale. So if you're interested in an S2000 car, it's pretty rapid. I think it's north of 235 horsepower, Indy RR, freshly built, all the billet front uprights, billet rear uprights. It's got all the bells and whistles on this, really has. If you're interested, hook us up on a phone call or an email and we can fill you on the details. Right, here we are, another chassis, another start, another build. But before I get into this, I tell you what, let's do the chassis register. See where you want it. You're up there. Well, if you want to get yourself into that queue, hook us up on a phone call and email, getting ready for your winter projects, because it's coming around fast, and so will spring, so get yourself in that queue. Right, onto the build. This is a booster car for Alec. And what is it going to be? Well, it's going to have a Gen 2 booster in it. Basically, it is the same specification that we use. It's going to have the booster engine in here, it's going to have throttle bodies, it's going to have all the management, the looms. What we've done so far, we've only started it a couple of days ago. Billet pedal boxes in, brake lines and fuel lines are going in. So this is the MK branded one. That's all in. Master cylinders are in. Front rockers are on. Suspension's on. Steering rack. Front and bottom rear A-arms. We're just starting to assemble the uprights, the billet uprights here. We have cross-driven groove discs all going in now with the adjustable. These are the camber adjustments. Very quick and easy to adjust these now. The new headlight bars that we're doing, these are going to be incorporated into these, so you can take them off on a track day. It's got the built-in indicator here, and we'll have the headlight, whichever choose you want, I suppose. But yeah, we'll have the 5 3/4 that we use for IVA. That's gone in. Fuel tank's ready here, ready to go in. We started in on the back end. Again, this is having full braided hoses right the way through. So we've got braided brake lines here that's going right the way through. And then the rear wishbones are in with the camber adjusters, so really quick to change. And for tow, we do the camber adjuster here on that. And then this is going to have full FIA race spec roll cage in it as well. So yeah, it's going to be the Sport 200. This is now going to be commonly known as Sport 200. It's the sort of road version of a booster car. And I can't wait, it's starting to come through. I mean, it's like a day and a bit on this, and we're racing through floor pattern, you know, it's just racing through on this. So if you want to subscribe, you'll see how this one comes together. Right, that's it for another mad week here at MK Sportscars. Don't forget, if you want to get into the Cup 200 car range, hook us up with a phone call or email here at MK Sportscars or RLM Racing or Atomic Racing, because that season will be rolling into 2023 sooner than you think. If you want to get your winter project coming, then don't forget, get yourself in the chassis register. The chassis are over here, ready to rock and roll. So that's it, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you next week.